Hey, Soca lovers, it's SocaSayso.
And this chick.
And we're back. This is episode 1 of season 6. This season, we're tackling the topic, the return.
That's it. That's all they get. The return. We are going to be covering so many things in this season, but in this episode, we are talking about the return of Carnival, the return of fetes, the return of being able to go outside without your mask.
Yay!
And of course, we're also talking about the return of war and racism.
We hope you enjoy. No. It's not gonna be totally depressing. Just stay with us. We're gonna work through it. You know, we've been working through a lot of things with Rant and Rave, and we're gonna work through this too. Just rip the band-aid. Let's start with the bad stuff.
I mean, so of course we're all aware that Russia invaded the Ukraine, and of course our first thoughts were Putin and how he's trying to kind of recreate the Soviet Union, and he's starting with the Ukraine, and he's been wanting to go into the Ukraine forever in an effort to discourage them from joining NATO and for many other reasons. But really, it's war, right? So there's always some underlying reason for this. Well, everyone immediately, when we heard about the invasion, we're like, that darn Putin.
Mm-hmm. And sad for the people of Ukraine.
Definitely sad, especially as images started to emerge where you saw the devastations after attacks. You saw that there were people struggling to get out of the Ukraine before things escalated. You saw tanks in the streets, things that we aren't really used to seeing, especially in the Western world. But you also saw, as people were trying to get out of this war-torn area, you saw racism. You saw how even in the midst of war and devastation, we have time to discriminate.
Oh, racism, when will you end?
Why? Why do we have to mix this in with everything else? And it's also, I mean, you're seeing it even just in the way that they're covering the story. You're seeing the reporters saying that this is not something you're used to seeing, where it's a predominantly white nation attacking another predominantly white nation and making refugees out of predominantly white residents. And it gave everyone pause, like, wait a minute. So refugee is only for Black, brown, yellow people? Wait a minute. Yeah. Very interesting.
This is just eerily similar to all of the racism that we face in America at the beginning of the pandemic. So we had a whole season, an extra season even, because there was so much going on that we stopped and really spoke to people around the world about how the George Floyd murder had affected them in their country, in their community, and what they were doing about it. And I remember that Black people were so frustrated that even in the face of a crazy pandemic where you don't even know if you're going to survive, if you're going to live, white people still had the energy to be racist.
Mm-hmm.
We're still here.
We're still here. We're seeing it. It's almost like there are levels to devastation, right? Like even when you are going through something as crazy as a global pandemic, as crazy as a war, that there are still people who make these hierarchies and say, well, you're somebody worth saving and you're not someone worth saving. So some of the images that we saw were videos of Africans at the train stations being told that they couldn't get on the trains. News media covered it, and Ukrainian officials said, well, these trains were for women and children, and these were Black men trying to get on. And so we were saying you can't get on because this is just for women and children. But then we saw even more disturbing images and constantly seeing that this was not just this isolated incident, that there were many places where Africans studying in the Ukraine were treated this way. And it was difficult for them to be able to get out. Some of them went to Romania, some of them tried to get to Turkey. We did hear that some of them, when they got to Romania, were treated better. But it's just like, I want to feel bad for you. I want to donate to the cause. And then I'm like, wait a minute. hang on a second. And to add insult to injury, the president of Ukraine made a call to African nations to encourage Africans to come and fight as soldiers for the Ukraine. And there have been many official releases from African countries that were like, say what now? Where? Huh? What? Like, huh? They are trying to lure them in with, you'll get Ukrainian citizenship, your studies might be paid for, you might be paid for this. Some people are saying, some Africans are like, well, if the war doesn't really escalate, I could probably make a little money off of this and come back to Kenya or Nigeria with money in my pocket. But definitely there were releases from embassies that were like, now you know. You don't need to be calling on our citizens.
Dear Mr. President.
Yes.
Now you know.
Yes. Nigeria actually said that Nigeria discourages the use of mercenaries anywhere in the world and will not tolerate the recruitment in Nigeria of Nigerians as mercenaries to fight in Ukraine or anywhere else in the world.
Snap. With all
So,
the head movement.
all of that. All of that. Yes. So yeah, there's a lot going on with racial tensions, obviously, in the middle of this Russia-Ukraine war.
And the thing that always gets me is that Black people don't have time to think about discriminating. We're just dealing with the struggle at the time. Like, can we just pay our gas prices? Can I just pay this grocery, like pay for these groceries? I wasn't even thinking about telling you can't get gas. Like, I was just trying to take care of myself. And like, in this moment, it's for many people of the Caribbean community, it's not a concern of where exactly did those Black people come from? Like, well, they are from Nigeria, so we don't mind. No, we stand in solidarity. We stand in solidarity. And by the way, there are some Caribbean students that are there.
Yes, there were Jamaican students who were studying in Ukraine, and they too were told that they can get out. But imagine now you're studying, right? You're a college student, you have very little money. And now you have to pay for flights. You have to, and there were price gouging on flights. So you have to pay for flights. You have to pay for ground transportation to even get to an airport. So what the Jamaican government did or tried to do to help facilitate this was to offer a loan to the students in Jamaica who were studying, Jamaican students who were studying in the Ukraine, so that they could buy their plane tickets, come back to Jamaica. Like, it was specifically for you to come back to Jamaica. Well, there were some Jamaican students who were like, so now I have to take out another loan? Like, on top of everything?
Always thinking.
I mean, you're a college student, money is definitely a concern. And this is a loan that you will have to pay back. Not to mention, there were some schools that were like, you might not be able to come back. So what happens to all the work I've done there? And then am I going to be able to easily transfer credits over to UE? Like, what are my options here? Because now this is an even more difficult situation. And so rather than taking the loan and going all the way back to Jamaica, some of them just went to Turkey. They were just like, we'll just wait it out in a neighboring country, see what happens, and then hopefully continue their studies. But yes, this was also a concern, because it's like, wait, a loan on top of, man, listen, do you see what's going on over here?
And as usual, Black people have to be their own advocates. So much of the footage that we got that we've been seeing is from people's cell phones and them reaching out to media, them posting it on social media. And that's why we saw it, because it was growing. People were concerned. The concern was growing on social media. And then the news picked it up as, okay, yes, this is an interesting story. People are interested in it. I see it with my eyes, but oh, you care? Okay, we'll talk about it now. So, you know, are we done with this? I don't want to anymore. I don't want to.
I mean, the good thing is, I will end it on a positive note. Many of the Jamaican students were able to get back to Jamaica safely, thank goodness. Those who want to continue their studies there are talks now about how to transfer those credits. Some Jamaican politicians probably shouldn't have said words like, well, we can't just afford to give this to you for free. Like, we still have to pay for things. So you took a loan to come back to Jamaica. Now you need a loan to study here. Like, it's the thing. But they were able to, those who chose to leave were able to make it back to Jamaica safely.
Good. Thank you for that positive note.
Yeah. And the Africans managed to make it to Romania, and they said they were being treated much better in Romania.
Great. Good news. See, we did it, guys. We survived the conversation. Let's hope everybody survives the war.
Yes. And the rise in gas prices for some ridiculous reason. So yes, let's hope we all can survive. But it's been, listen, in the last 2 years, what have we had? We've had pandemic, we've had new wave, we had quarantine, we had canceled carnivals, we had all kinds of things that would just drive you insane, but we made it. We are not, most of us are not insane.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yes. I need Soca as a stress relief, and I know many, many people need Carnival as a stress relief. And some carnivals are making a return. Yeah, we still don't have the button. We
don't have. We need a sponsor to give us a button. That thing, get a button. So okay, button sponsorship. Hit us up. But it is good to see things coming back, things opening up. It's really good. I mean, I'm still cautious because, you know, Corona is a thing. Mm-hmm. And there's no magic pill or treatment yet. So
some of the carnivals that I've heard are coming back are Grenada. Oh, sorry. Grenada. Bring it down. Barbados, Antigua, Toronto. Yes. What else? Who else is coming out?
St. Lucia, I think, is opening back up.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah, we have some options, and it's happening this year. We have some options, which is great. But with gas prices, flight prices, who knows? Anyway, but we're staying positive.
Trinidad kind of had a carnival. I don't know. There was no road, right? There was no road. Okay. So no costumes, unless you made it yourself, which some people did. And there were events that were allowed to happen with gatherings. And there were the pods.
The controversial pods.
So
for a visual of the pod, for those who don't know what the pod is, it basically, if you've watched wrestling, and you know when they're in the ring, that's basically the pod. What they were trying to do is keep you sectioned off within this little, I don't have full dimensions, but to keep you sectioned off in these little roped off areas in your pod, because you're the pod.
Yeah. I would have gone with boxing, but yes, wrestling.
I mean, I went with something that was a little more haphazard, not quite so structured. My only thing was, can you pee in the pod?
Well, obviously not. When you go to the restaurant, you have to walk around and go, but put your mask back on to go to the bathroom.
Is that what people were doing? That's not what people were doing.
That was the hope.
Well, I have my thoughts on this, and it's my podcast. I'm gonna say it. I don't see how this was beneficial for helping stop the spread of COVID. I do see how it was beneficial for raising pet prices because they weren't that high, right? In begin with. I like the semblance of responsibility, but let's be honest. If I see I'm in a pod, I'm with SocaSayso, I'm in my pod, I drink and I dance, and I see somebody over there, hey, brethren, I'm going. I am going over there. So what is the point of my pod?
They try to ting, man. They try to ting. And listen, I've seen the pod elsewhere, right? On social media. I've seen it in different countries. I've seen it for different events. And I do think it's a good idea because they're usually in an open air space, right? So you get the benefit of that, of having free circulating air. And they are big enough for you to bring a crew, so that at least a small crew, but you can have some people around you, so you will have less of a temptation to leave that area. And then it kind of gives it like everybody's in a VIP section feel to it. Yeah, people like that.
So here's why I think it's good. Nobody mashing my foot. Nobody jumping around me, whatever. However, if this is to try to limit the spread of something, first of all, you're entering that where everybody knows everybody, right? So it's not, I'm just with my little crew here and we're going to stay to ourselves. I'm sure I'm seeing cousin, friend, coworker, blah, 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 somewhere, right? Okay, so I'm at a social event where I'm not able to socialize freely. Why not just make it a mask mandate? Why not just say that? Or you know what I think was really missed out on?
She wants to stop our alcohol intake. No,
but that's the missed opportunity. That's the missed opportunity. Is we definitely could have had some gear that was fit to this. I mean, you get a lot of giveaways and takeaways when you go to parties, you go to fetes, you go to carnivals. Why not have some gear that makes this a cute thing to do? Make it more like we're fashionably safe, hazmat couture, whatever. Like, why not make that the situation? I don't think if this was about stopping the spread of COVID, I don't think this made sense. I do think if this was about limiting the amount of people in a fet, limiting the interaction in a fet, maybe it was a good thing. But you know what? I will let Trinidadians tell us how they felt about the pods. Those who went, some of the people I talked to, they were like, man, listen. But I will let them tell us how they felt about the pod. But when I saw it, I was like, I like it as a VIP experience. I don't think it makes sense as a fet experience.
I would prefer to do that than stand in my living room one more game. I mean, actually, let me take that back. I would prefer to include that into my experience because I'm fine with virtual experiences. I'm acclimated now. So I would do one in the house and then one outside and, find ways to mix it up and still get the vibes. So I can't say I'm totally against the virtual. I'm not, because it has allowed me to party with people around the world. So
that is a good thing.
I am a little here for it, but it just doesn't allow me to, walk past you and get that walk by wine, when you're just like, oh, I was just walking by. I just stopped for half a song. Now I'm going. So, I'm the only one.
You sound like the only predator.
The only one.
You sound like such a predator. Not that any man is gonna be like, oh no, she whined on me. But well, you never know. I shouldn't say that. Men have their rights too. I shouldn't say that.
Exactly.
But I will say that I am excited for things opening up. I'm excited for things returning in any form. where I could get a nice costume. And let me tell you, almost like the day after, like Ash Wednesday, bands were like, sign up for 2023. I'm like, you know what? I'm in my feelings right now. I might sign up for 2023.
Why not? Why not? I mean, I'm very interested in how all of the countries approach Carnival, right? Like, what is Carnival, right? What has to return in order for you to call it Carnival? Many people said it's not Carnival if there is no road. Carnival did not return. Having fetes does not make a carnival. Some people say, well, I've been locked up for 2 years, and so I'll take it. This is Carnival to me. So it's interesting to see what each country is going to consider having a carnival to be now. Now, what is that going to include? Do you have to have a costume on in order, you know? And I'll be frank, I'm confused for a lot of costumes that I do see being released. I don't see a mask component to the costumes. Now, I know we want to drink. I know it's hot and sweaty. I know we want to sing out our songs, but there are so many different types of masks, and you can even invent another kind of mask just for a carnival. Like, where is the return of ingenuity and innovation? I feel like that part is lacking in the costumes.
Yeah, and you know, we've been to parties in fact pre-pandemic with our branded masks, with our flag masks. So yeah, I don't see why that hasn't come back. But you know, people are saying, well, the mask isn't really going to do anything, so why include it? But I think it would just be a nice little. I mean, you see ninja costumes. It's a nice little air of mystery and sexiness. Give me a little something, little piece of lace, something over. Come on, give me something.
And give me a little bit of comfort. Some people are not as comfortable to be outside without masks or be in large groups of people without a mask on. And so if it's part of your costume, then you'll feel a little more comfortable wearing it because now it matches you and maybe other people will wear it. So you'll feel less of, just the scaredy cat and, you know what, don't peer pressure. Everybody's not wearing it. Let me take mine off. I feel like there's a lot of ways that bands can change the costume so that the mask is incorporated and you can revel and have a great time with it. Make people feel comfortable.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. They just started saying they're opening back up. So we'll see what all of the band launches are going to look like. I'm excited. I think I might actually make it to Crop Over this year. Those of you who are signed up for the DysChick newsletter, you know I'm a little bit obsessed with Prime Minister Mia Mottley, and I feel like she will be at Crop Over. And so I think I need to go to Crop Over. So anyone listening, send me recommendations because I think I might have to be in that.
Yes.
For the first time.
Oh my goodness. Are we going to have a podcast from Barbados?
Is Mia Mottley and Rihanna, are they going to be on our podcast? Because that would be so cool.
Let's make it happen.
Make it happen.
Manifestations.
Putting it out into the universe.
I just want to free up, I just want to free up without barriers around me, without being completely petrified of what I'm coming home with and what sickness I'm gonna feel in the next 2 weeks. And I'd like to get the freeness feels of Carnival. So whatever part of Carnival that allows me to throw my head back and enjoy the music, let it wash over me, that's the Carnival I want.
I'm with it. I want to be free again.
Speaking of freeness, can I rave?
Oh my gosh. It's been so long since I've heard you say that. And you know what? After everything we've discussed and how we've been feeling, go ahead and rave.
Oh, great. I am raving to, look, we we are raving to Free Again by DJ Private Ryan and Preedy 2022 Soca for sure. Where we going, man?
Cause if you come to party, let we party. You come out to party, start to party. You want to party, then let we party. We drinking, we drinking. Thank God I'm free again. I just want to misbehave. Thank God I'm free again. No, we drinking, we drinking. Cause we are limited time to line. Don't know when the place might shut down. So every gal who won't wine, hide us what see the bumper drop down. We don't want time to fret or frighten. We don't care if the world might be the same again. Cause so if you come out to party, you come to party, then just go and live life and be happy. Don't waste time thinking about the past. Just be happy, oh, just be happy. If you come out to party, you come to party. Thank God I'm free again. I just want to misbehave. Thank God I'm free again. No, we drinking, we drinking. Don't tell me meet you outside. I don't know if the kid.
I want to be free. DJ Private Ryan and Preedy, Free Again. True to the words, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, did we know we were going to have the idea of a third world war going around? No.
I just want to be free again. I want to misbehave. I miss it. I miss it. I know that parties have been happening. I know that things have been going on, but I honestly have felt like I want to be able to be comfortable and secure in a fete and in a party. And so I am waiting for something that makes me go, you know what? I must be in that. But at this point, with everything going on, I'm ready to free up just because we don't know. I don't know if we're going to get sucked into this. I don't know if this whole thing is going to cause prices and things to go, like this could balloon into a whole other situation. So yes, in the meantime, I am booking my flights. I am getting my hotel. I am planning to free up again.
Yes. And I want to know, are you guys planning to free up again? Tell us in the comments. We want to know, are you going to carnivals? Are you going to return to the fetes? Let us know. And which ones? Because you might see us there.
Mm-hmm. You know what else needs to return? I think my mesh shorts need to return. I need to find those. That needs to return.
Yes to that always.
So yeah, they might see us in a party and you'll know me by the, Child, let's stop this. Before I get myself into trouble. The return of this chick in trouble. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into our first episode of The Return. We are going to have these released weekly. You guys, make sure you are following us. Follow SocaSayso on all social media or go to SocaSayso.com. Follow DysChick on all social media or go to DysChick.com.
And make sure you go to our website, bkrantandrave.com, and subscribe to the podcast and tell a friend to tell a friend. We on season 6. Catch up. Okay, bye.